Starting off from last time, the teacher said Bakugo wanted to go to UA, and he says, "Yeah, I'm gonna be the #1 hero." And still everyone's bullying him, except for Deku. So they decide, and then the teacher reads off. Deku also wants. Well, he says, "Izuku Midoriya, you also want to go to UA?" And everyone just looks at Izuku and starts clapping and cheering him on and say, "Yeah, you can do it." Bakugo just furious right now because everyone booed him, but everyone's cheering on Deku. So he says, "Oi, nerd, me and you after school." And he just sighs and said, "All right, Bakugo." And they do what they said. They went outside. Deku unleashes a two. Well, no. Deku lands a scratch, making Bakugo bleed because oh dang it, because her nails, they are not to be toyed with, making Bakugo bleed. And Bakugo says, "Ha, that's all you got?" And then um Deku clenches his fist and he says, "Blood, demon art, exploding blood," unleashing a two apartment-sized explosion. And he was holding back. He can go to like a mansion-sized explosion, but he was holding back. So after that, Bakugo's knocked unconscious. So Deku puts him on his shoulder and walks the normal way he goes, but not under the tunnel. He just walks to Mitsuki's house, knocks on the door. Mitsuki sees Bakugo and says, "What happened to him?" And then he just explains that Bakugo wanted to fight him. He unleashed an attack that knocked him out, so he wouldn't, remember him having the fight, but will gain memory of it later on. And Mitsuki said, "All right." Mitsuki takes Bakugo, and yeah, he goes back to his house. And that's the sludge villain incident avoided. But All Might caught the sludge villain. Deku never got one for all, because I'm pretty sure that would make him even more OP. So now, we have the 10 months training exercise. Well, 10 months training for the entrance exam. And Deku saw Dagobah Beach on the way back, so he decides to go over there. And since there's a bunch of trash on it, he wanted to try out his blood demon art to its fullest extent, and his breathing techniques. So that's what he did. He first started off with his blood demon art. He can now explode an entire human body. No, an entire human, if he wanted to. But he's not gonna do that because he wants to be a hero. So now we have him practicing his water forms. So his water forms. So first off, he does first form, water surface slash. Then he does second form, water wheel, the iconic water wheel. And then we go second form modified. Yes, apparently he has a second form modified. And we have third form flowing dance. I actually don't remember that one. And now we have fourth form. We have fourth form striking tide. We have fifth form. This one I remember clearly. Fifth form blessed rain after the drought. Now we have sixth form, which is whirlpool. Hold on. Yeah. Sixth form is literally just whirlpool. That's what it's called. And now we have seventh form and third form combo. 7th form and his 3rd form combo, since he thought it'd be a good idea. 7th piercing raindrop curve, and it has a curve to it. The 7th form is just piercing raindrop. And now we have 8th form, which is waterfall bison. Now he's practicing his 9th form, which I'm actually curious about. Let me look it up. Okay, his 9th form is splashing water flow. Now we have his 10th form, which is the water dragon form. Oh yeah, he has a turbulent mode. He has a turbulent form for the splashing water flow. His 10th form is constant flux, which is a literal water dragon, and like in his sword. Now we have the 11th form. If you're wondering how they achieve it, the same way Gyu achieved it. He has the 11th form, dead calm. Now he decides to move on to the sun breathing techniques. We have first well, not first form, but first form. He has the flash dance. Yeah, flash dance is the first form. Okay, now it is. Okay, we have second sun breathing second form, clear blue sky. Then 3rd form, raging sun. 4th form, fake rainbow. 5th form, fire wheel. 6th form, burning bone summer sun. 7, hold on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yes, 7, sunflower thrust. 8, solar heat haze. 9, setting sun transformation. 10, benefit radiance. 11, Dragon Sun Halo Head Dance. 12, Flame Dance. And 13th form is just called 13th form. So yeah, there's that. Now, he already did his blood demon art. He can explode an entire Nomu if he wanted to. So yeah, that's where he's at now. So by the end of by the 5-month mark, he can pretty much destroy a high tier Nomu. If you're wondering what those are, it is the Nomu that All Might fought and Endeavor fought. Well, no, Endeavor fought the high tier Nomu. So yeah, that's what the high tier Nomu is. He can explode one of those without it regenerating. And because since his thing's not a quirk, it's a mutation. The Nomu can't regenerate from it because it's a mutation, no quirk. So during the last day, he just goes over like a review and tries to pinpoint, condense the explosion. Will condense the power of the explosion with more blood, and it actually works. It's a small explosion, but one with the power of a nuclear bomb. And not only a nuclear bomb, the most powerful nuclear bomb in every state so far combined. So yeah, that's where his blood demon art is so far. No, it costs less blood, but more concentration. So yeah, there's that. Now it is time for the entrance exam to UA. We already know how this goes. Izuku, he's gonna be 2 times smarter. So he aces the written test, aces it, and he fills out a form to where he can use his sword. Because, you know what? No. He learned a technique where, you see Nezuko's nails right there? Yeah. He can, condense the power of his sword. Literally turn his sword into his nails. So basically the sword will disappear. The sheet will still be there, but the sword will disappear, and the sword... No. Here's an explanation. So, he doesn't have Nezuko's nails, But when he does get Nezuko's nails, it's when he combines the power of his, like, the sharpness of his sword with his nails. So basically the sword disappears and goes into his nails, so they turn, sharp, like Nezuko's. And that's how he's gonna use his sun breathing, without his sword. But he still got the form checked out, so like he can use it during like training stuff and like that. So yeah. And now for the practical exam, before, like, soon as the door opened and before President Markin, like, soon as the door opened, he just blitzed. Izuku blitzed. When I mean blitz, I mean this man was like faster than Zenitsu. So yeah, he's like faster than Zenitsu. He just blitzes. Uses like in his nails, he uses fake rainbow, which obliterates 5 3-point robots, and then he uses burning bone summer sun, which destroys 6 2-point nomus, and he uses sunflower thrust. He thrusts one robot, which obliterating it completely, and then the air pressure behind that destroys 7 other 1-pointers in like 10 seconds. So he's like, the other people are like, you're cheating. He didn't do the countdown. And President Mike says, there are no countdowns in a real battle. Follow that kid to lead. And I'm gonna say Bakugo was not in his, like, in canon, he was not in its zone. So Deku scratches him, making him bleed, throws the blood on a robot, and then his arm heals, and uses the condensed version of his basically he uses the condensed version of the exploding blood, and it when I say it obliterated the robot and 5 and like 10 others behind it, that's what it did, and they were all 3-pointers. And then he says, okay, I'm getting tired of using my sun breathing. So he goes over to water breathing and uses 11th form, dead calm, and obliterates every robot around him. And I'm going to say 5 robots went around him. 2 3-pointers, 4 2-pointers, and one 1-pointer. And they all just got obliterated. Like, just because of the dead calm. And everyone's just shocked at his power. So he uses 10th form, constant flux, and just literally dancing around. Like, it's like he's dancing right now. He's just like going through, and like they can see from his nails, like, is a water dragon. And he's just dancing through like all the robots, destroying them. And now he decides to use, he uses third form flowing dance. No, he used before he used third form mixed with his second form, well, no, 10th form, to get the water dragon little dance. So he uses the third form flowing dance only. And when I say that man was great, he also added blah blah blah, looking for it. He also added flash dance as well. So when I say this man took out 10 more 3-pointers, I mean he took out 10 more 3-pointers. And then the 0-pointer came, so he just scratched his arm again, threw the blood on his head after seeing Uraraka under some rubble, and then used a condensed. When I mean it was really condensed, I mean it was like 10 times stronger than his original one, like the original condensed version. And he crushes his hand while saying blood demon or exploding blood, and that thing disintegrated. Okay, the head blew up, and then the rest of the robot just disintegrated. Everyone just seeing this is shocked. Principal Nezu was like, okay, this man is automatically in class 1A. He goes down there, introduces himself, and says you're in class 1A before any other person knows what their class is. And everyone watched Nezu say you're in class 1A. You passed. And everyone is just like, okay, yep, he deserves that. He deserves to pass right now before anyone else. So he picks up, like, he moves the rubble off of Uraraka, puts her over his shoulder, and just walks out of the place, walks to the gate. So yeah, Recovery Girl heals her. Deku is completely fine, to everyone's shock. Like, he's not sweating or anything. Like, this is normal to him. But they don't see his hand. His hand from that final, real condensed explosion is charred. He's healing from it now, but it is charred. So he's gotta learn how to control the condensed version, like the second condensed version now. Now, okay. Now, I'll call that one big. I'm gonna call that one explode. Blood demon, or exploding blood. Big Boom. Yes, what an original name, Big Boom. Now, during the 2 weeks, he's just training with said Big Boom, and blood demon, or exploding blood, limb crusher, and his normal, blood demon art, as well as his water breathing and sun breathing. Yeah, that's what he does for the 2 weeks. He already knows he's passed because Nezu literally told him. So when the 2 weeks end, he only got the uniforms. He didn't get the letter. So he just walks. He finds Class 1A, goes inside to see Bakugo and Ida arguing, and he just walks over to Bakugo and says, "Katsuki, shut up," and then walks away. And Bakugo has only heard, Deku call him Bakugo. He's never heard him call him by Katsuki. And every time he has, he's dead serious. So he just shuts his mouth. And Ida walks over to him and says, "That was rude." And Deku says, "I don't care. I don't care if it was rude. He just needs to shut his mouth." Ida's just dumbfounded about how he just doesn't care how rude he was being. Like, he just straight up said that he needs to shut his mouth. And Ida says, "That's really disrespectful. Really disrespectful. You should go apologize." And Deku's just wondering, like, why is this man so strict? I ain't apologizing for Jack. So he says, "No, you go apologize, of anything." And he's just like, "Why should I apologize?" Deku's just like, "Because you were about to wake the teacher up with all that noise." And he says, "What do you mean? The teacher hasn't even walked in yet." And Deku says, "Yeah, because you're too stupid to realize he's behind a desk sleeping." So Ida looks behind the desk and sees Mr. Aizawa sleeping. And he just walks back over to him and says, "Oh, but you're the person to get first place on the entrance exam." And Deku's like, "I know. I'm the one who caused nuke and for the 0 pointers disintegration." And he was like, "I know. I watched it." And Deku's like, "Okay, then stop messing with me. I'm gonna take a nap. Tell me when the teacher wakes up." And he does take said nap. Because he knows this is UA. They aren't gonna play playing around on their hero training. So he's sleeping to rejuvenate his energy, because he does not have the energy right now to be arguing. He's still tired. So Mr. Aizawa gets up after Uraraka arrives. He sees Deku sleeping. He says, "I like that kid. He's already sleeping. He's just like me." He says, "Wake up. The teacher has arrived." Deku just opens up one eye and says, "Shut up. I'm trying to sleep here." And the teacher's been here. He's just been sleeping behind his desk. Now, if you don't mind, I'm trying to get some shut-eye as well. Good night. And Mr. Aizawa just stares at him with the quirky racing eyes. And he says, "Get up." And Izuku just groans, gets up, and says, "What?" And as Deku predicted, they're gonna be doing a physical test. And Deku just says, "Dude, that's why I was sleeping. I sleep to rejuvenate my energy. It's part of my quirk." Well, quirk in quotation marks. So I was just like, "Oh, alright." So they go into the locker room and see this man is lean. He's not ripped like I usually make him. He's lean. So yeah, There's a dip. Yeah, I'm changing it up a bit. So he really doesn't train that much on his physical appearance. He trains more on like, his breathings and his blood demon art. But that's gonna change. And that when it's time, well, no, Deku sees Mineta trying to peep, like, take a peep, and Deku just walks over to Mineta and say, "Hey, Mineta, what you doing?" And Mineta says, "Shh, shh, I'm trying to take a peep." Deku scratches. Deku infuses his sword with his nails, causing those nails. And throwing throwing the blood on Mineta, and says, "What was that for?" And Jiro has her earphones plugged into the wall, and the boys and Jiro hear blood demon art, exploding blood, like the regular one, and he just goes flying out of the building. And Jiro tells the girls about this, and they're like, "Geez, he didn't have to go that far. He could just throw him out the building." But whatever. And Deku just walks out, seeing Mineta, and like, "Yo, you good?" And Mineta's just like knocked out. And says, "Okay, I'm gonna take that as a yes. He's rejuvenating his energy. Good for him." Now Deku is since he got first place, he's got to take the ball test first. That's what he does. And when I say this man, you like scratched his arm and put all of the blood on the ball, as well as using his fire breathing with his nails, as along with literally his 10th form. He literally sent that ball into orbit, and then as soon as it hit the moon, I'm saying you can see past the moon. It went through the moon, and then it started disintegrating. So that man used constant 10th form, constant flux of water breathing, infused it with his fire breathing, clear blue sky, along with his blood demon art. Yes, that's what he did. And sent that ball into orbit, and then it started disintegrating over all of the power. And it was, like, I'm gonna say it was the condensed stage 1, like, the first condensed one that he learned. So yeah, it wasn't even the size of, like, the 10 times version. So Deku just like, "Is that good enough for you?" And I was like, "You didn't use your full power." And Deku's like, "I know I didn't." And they're just, like, shocked that literally he didn't use his full power, and it blew a hole in the moon, and it disintegrated. And Mr. Aizawa says, "Use your full power this time, or you're gonna get expelled." Deku's just like, fine, whatever. So he does the same thing, but uses the 50 times version, the more concentrated one. And let me just tell you, it even blew a hole into the sun. And it almost caused a supernova. And then it started disintegrating after it was through the sun. And they're just even more shocked. Because, the sun's a good amount of distance away from the Earth. So they're just completely shocked that at this point nothing that Deku does surprised them anymore. And Baku's just like, "You dang nerd! How did you get this strong?" And Deku just turns around and says, "Power. That's how." And just walks away and waiting for the other exams. So for the race, he uses constant flux and puts I'm gonna say he can do what Azula can with her fire out of her legs, but this time it's explosions, along with with the flash dance. No, he just used the flash dance because right here it says he's because I'm gonna say I have a Wikipedia up right now for the water breathing and sun breathing, and it says, although it is the sun breathing flash dance is still said to be slower than Zenitsu's thunderclap and slash. It's to be slower, and that man in Zenitsu goes the fastest lightning. So if it's only a little bit slower than that, and Nezuko's been training on it. I'm pretty sure he can make not Nezuko, and Deku's been training on it. He's probably faster than now. So he uses the flash dance, and he's over there and at 0.00000000001 and that is the fastest amount of time that anyone has gotten through the race. The fastest amount. And the rest of the tests go not the same as canon, but Deku. Let's just say Deku got first because the race and the wall throw were literally the only ones I can think of. And when the second throw, like the first throw, he got infinity, but the second, like Deku's second throw, where Azal made him do it again, he got error. So now Deku. Okay, this is the place. Deku, Bakugo, Momo, Todoroki. Then I'm gonna say Kaminari. And if you're wondering if I'm gonna have Deku train Kaminari again in this one, no. I'm trying to make each one of them different, so no. Deku is not gonna be training Kaminari in this. It's just not gonna happen. If you guys liked it, I can probably do it again. If you liked it when Deku trained Kaminari. Maybe. Maybe. So that was the first day of school. And hold on. How much time? 26 minutes. We can go 4 minutes. 4 minutes of this one, and then I'm probably going to do another video. So now the second day of school. No, I'm going to say a week gone by. And Deku is training his physical body now. So he can endure and condense more energy for his his demon blood art. Or blood demon art. So he's training his physical body. And he went from lean to lean and ripped at the same time. So now okay. I'm gonna have to find Deku's hero costume. If I can't, this is probably gonna be his hero costume again. Okay. I might make it this. If I feel like I might make it that. That looks cool. You know what? Yeah, that's his hero costume. This is Deku's hero costume. He's bringing the sword along since, he has permission to have it. It's part of his so-called quirk. So yeah, I might use this photo for the rest of the time. And Mineta is still trying to peep on him when they're in the locker room changing to their hero costumes. Deku just looks at Mineta with these eyes. Mineta feels someone staring in the back of his head, from the side of his head. So he turns and sees these eyes staring at him. These eyes. And he just scared out of his mind. And he said, "Oh, I'm not gonna do that," and walked out of the room. Right behind him is Deku. And yeah, the USJ, Deku sensed something was off. He uses his blood demon art. He scratched himself just in case. And I'm gonna say he can choose if he wants to be healed or not, and he's choosing not to yet. So he can see if his hunch is right. And his hunch was right, so he throws the blood at the villains, and you're like, "What is this?" And he uses the normal blood demon art, knocking most of the villains out except for Shigaraki, Kirogiri, and Inomu. And then he uses the 50 times one, well, the most condensed he can so far, and kills Inomu. Mr. Aizawa like, "There's no killing prohibited," and Deku just turns around with a bruv face and says, "That wasn't human." Bakugo And he says, "Bakugo, grab the middle plate on that portal guy." And he does, and he says, "Don't tell me what to do." And he does it anyway. And now they can't escape. So when the rest of the heroes arrive, there's no escaping. So yeah, again, Kirigiri and Shigaraki did not get to escape. If you're wondering why I'm doing this every time, it's honestly because I don't, so many things could have been avoided if they just been smarter. And that's what I'm making Deku. Again, Deku's gonna be smart in this one. He's gonna be smart and strong. He's gonna have a combination of. I just went over an entire thing. Okay. Flashback. Hero versus villains. It is Uraraka and Deku versus Bakugo and Ida. Same as canon. And when Bakugo flies at Deku, Deku just dodges. puts some blood on him and uses the blood demon art, like the regular one, knocking Bakugo out. And he just walks away, signaling Uraraka to follow him, like a good distance behind him after putting the capture tape. Okay, so Uraraka put the capture tape on him, and Deku signals to stay a few feet behind him. And she says okay. And when they get to Ida, he's during his monologue. And since Nezuko's a demon, she can since he's the reincarnation of Nezuko, he can shrink all. He can shrink. He can grow bigger. All of that. So he shrinks into like a 2-year-old kid, and he just and Uraraka seeing this is like, okay. Every girl in the thing is just like, aww. And he just walks behind every pillar, making sure Ida doesn't see him. He gets behind the bomb, touches it, grow, and they hear, Hero Team wins, and he's like, what? None of them are here. And then Deku just grows big, so Deku just grows back to his normal size and says, Ida, look behind the bomb. And Ida does what he's told and literally sees Deku just standing there with his hand on the bomb. Ida is just dumbfounded right now. Okay, that's the end of the flashback. And again, that's the end of the USJ. Since I'm bored, I'm probably gonna upload like a few minutes. But this is the end of this video. It has been over 30 minutes. So hope you guys enjoy this one after when I post it. So here you go.